Our final speaker is entering, I don't know, what's it, 55 years or something like that. I lost count a long time ago. He's a head coach at the school which bears his family name, the most celebrated coach in Louisiana prep football history. He's led the Patriots to 28 championships on the field. Did I get that right? On the field. And of course, as mentioned, he's the winningest coach in Louisiana history, 615 wins, and he's poised to become the winningest coach in the history of the United States prep football. He needs just 6 wins to tie that record, 7 to become the winningest coach in the history of our country. Think about it. Patriots are the defending Select Division I state champion, and he's already been inducted into the National High School Hall of Fame, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, also the All-State Sugar Bowl Red and New Orleans Sports Hall of Fame, the Louisiana College Sports Hall of Fame, and I'm sure I'm missing some others that we can create if you'd like me to. So with that in mind, John Curtis opens its season this Friday night at the Shrine on Airline, right next door to the Saints facility against Central Lafourche. Please give a warm quarterback club welcome to JT Curtis. JT.
Thank you, Ken. When you have that many wins, it just means you're old and getting older as we go through it. Tommy said to tell you hello, Verge. My son-in-law and Tommy Fabaka played with Verge at LSU back in the day. I'm privileged to have my son with me, Johnny, and my grandson, who's the newest member of our staff that just joined us this year. He finished at the University of Dayton as an outstanding baseball player there. I'd like to recognize both of them. Johnny, Jay, would you stand just for a second? It's always fun to be with your grandchildren, but to be on and to work with them on the field has really been a pleasure. It's really been an honor to have him there with us and to watch him grow as a young man. And that's what high school athletics is about. 99% of the people that play for us is the end of their career. And we want to make it the best experience possible. I know Coach Indusa, who we have a long relationship with, that his priority and the priority of the coaches that I'm associated with is to develop young men. We are in a desperate need for men in our community, and we are in desperate need of leadership out of you all to help us make these young men into the men of the future. Our country, in my opinion, has been let down by our generation. We have failed in a lot of ways, but we have an opportunity to mold and direct these young men both morally and ethically and spiritually to be the leaders of tomorrow. And I say that to you because sometimes we get caught up in scores, we get caught up in wins, we get caught up in the negativity of losses, and we lose sight of the intrinsic values that come from athletics. The ability to compete, the ability to get along, the ability to achieve goals. As Mrs. Benson said, that we learn to sacrifice ourselves and our wants in order for the betterment of the team. And I think that carries over into the family, that we learn to sacrifice and we learn to be the leader of our families and therefore be the director of our children. So playing and coaching is more to me than just wins and losses. And I think for the men that I deal with and the men that I'm associated with, it is more than just wins and losses. And the ones that it is not fall by the wayside. But those that stay the course are there for the right reasons and are there to watch these young men grow. Having said that, I think the prep football is in a great position in Louisiana. I think we have some outstanding teams. The greater New Orleans area has some outstanding football teams and outstanding football programs. I know Coach Fritz, I know Coach Kelly actively recruit in our community and have been able to hold on to our local players, which I think is so important, to give them a chance to develop their programs and develop their position here in our community and to stay in our community. I think this is so important too, and we've mentioned it several times, that both of those teams have their quarterbacks back, and so do we. And I'm telling you, that makes a difference. When you have your quarterback you've been able to mentor and work with and be able to have him to understand the process of what you're trying to teach, it becomes so much easier to be able to be successful. Certainly, we all want to have great players, but to have a leader that's behind that center that can control that huddle and that can control that game and have the poise that is necessary to be successful is vital to success. And I think that we look at that with the three teams that I mentioned, that's an advantage. Obviously, we're hoping the same thing for the New Orleans Saints. I think they made a good choice, and I think they have the quarterback depth that is very rare in the National Football League. I think both of those quarterbacks can play, and I think both of those quarterbacks are capable of winning. So I think the New Orleans Saints, Ms. Benson, are in a good place. And we look forward to that playoff appearance. There's nothing more exciting in the community, whether it's at the high school or the college or the professional level, to move into that playoff. It's what we work for. It's what we strive for. To put ourselves in a position to just get into playoffs and have an opportunity to compete. In high school, as you know, I'd be remiss not to address the lawsuit that we are in the LHSAA. As you know, last year they united us together a little bit better than we had been in the past. They expanded our playoff teams to give us a better representation across the state, and 9 schools out of North Louisiana brought a suit and said that it wasn't done by the book. And so it's now in court, and our hope is that the judge will rule in our favor or in the favor of the LHSAA and allow the playoffs to continue as they were last year. We were at a decided disadvantage in the past because of the limitation of number of schools. If you're not familiar with what the process was, is that we split because it was unfair for private, parochial, and charter schools to be able to draw students across the boundary lines. And even though they had to sit out, they viewed it as being unfair, and it created the split. Well, when the commissioner looked at what's going on in education today with charter schools and with other types of schools with academic new programs, he realized that students were crossing boundary lines. And so he put them in the select division, which in my opinion was fair. And of course, as you know, that is now in court. We hope that the judge will rule in our favor. They had 2 opportunities through the summer to be able to meet and to change the rule, and they could not get a quorum of principals to show up to change it. So I think that says something about where we are, and I hope that we're going to be able to continue to maintain the competitive playoff positions that we're in. The New Orleans area is full of good teams across the board. Both public, both private. As you know, Destrehan was the state champion in our area, but our competitive teams in our district, as known as the Catholic League, but the North Shore League, they're just very, very good football teams that are coached extremely well, and some very good players. And so we encourage you to get involved, to get out and go watch a game. Our guys play for the love of the game. There's no NIL. There's not a lot of fanfare. As I said, 99% of our guys are out there playing because they just love the competitive sport. And it means something to them that when they have support and when they know that you're supporting them. It's one of the reasons that I'm excited about our 32 season in Friday Night Football with Ed. Most of you all, I'm sure, are aware of the program and watch it, but what I get the biggest pleasure out of is watching those young men and those young cheerleaders and the dance team and the scholar athlete and the player of the week and those young men having an opportunity to be recognized for something positive. Goodness gracious, we see enough negativity about our young people in the paper. We never see enough about the good things. And I am telling you, 99% of the people are doing good things, but they don't get talked about. They don't get mentioned. They don't get recognized. They don't get encouraged. So you have that responsibility, I think, to be a part of that encouragement for these young people, to help them become better men. I'm going to close with this, and I would be remiss if I did not finish this way, because it's been on my heart for a while, and that is to remember the people in Maui. You know, we are in the week of recognizing what happened with Katrina and what happened with Ida, and we know how difficult that was and how overbearing in your spirit it can be. But I want to mention to you to not only keep them in your prayer, but there's a group called the Samaritan Purse, and I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but it's run by Franklin Graham under the Billy Graham organization. And immediately they were in Maui serving the needs of those people that have lost everything. Everything. And so if you're looking to try to make a contribution or to help, let me encourage you to, if you don't have a program that you do support, that think about Samaritan's Purse and supporting them, and keep those people in your prayer. We look forward to a great year. We look forward to the Saints in the playoffs. We look forward to Tulane going 13-1. LSU in a national championship, and John Curtis hoping to compete to win its first game. Thank you.